Well, let me ask you about the Mercedes thing. I mentioned we'll talk about Dynamite. We can't really do a full-on review. I don't have a ton of time with you left, but do get to ask you about the big moment from last night. As far as how it came off, because the promo itself I saw mixed reviews on. I didn't really care about the promo. It was a pretty basic promo. I don't think she had to go out there and spill her heart out, but she mentioned that she was gone and, she's the CEO and take a shot every time she uses one of her catchphrases, you'd be dead. But, I mean, the reaction came off extremely well. I mean, they treated her like a big star, as you would expect them to in Boston. I assume that will translate to future shows going forward. And we also saw her pop up at the end to close the show, helping Willow against Julia Hart and Sky Blue. So, your thoughts on the Mercedes Mone debut last night on Dynamite?
I didn't mind it. Like I said, I've just come out straight off. I'm not the hugest Sasha fan. Just to go there. But I didn't hate it. Like, when they panned to the crowd to start the show, obviously you were there, so you know that. But like when they started the show, they just kept panning to the crowd, and it was like AEW. They're just cheering AEW, whatever. And then obviously they start playing the music. I knew it was her because I'd never heard the music.
Yeah.
So she had, like you said, a great reaction. Obviously, I think everyone knew it was going to be her. The promo, like you said, it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was like the greatest promo of all time, but it's not really what it was really meant for, anyways. So I kind of have her back on that. Like it was more like I'm here. She's all elite. They throw the graphic up. I guess she didn't really kind of like say her motivations for being there. Like she said she loved wrestling and she loves wrestling and the people. And last time she was in TD Garden, she main evented or the pay-per-view and she lost. I saw Charlotte Flair and a fucking Hell in a Cell. I'll never forget. But no, like you said, I think it was just kind of getting her motives. I wish she kind of gave us a little bit more, but like you said, it's not like. I don't know. I wish she kind of like put the women over a little bit more. Like you said, like she showed up later in the show, but like I don't know. I'm just interested to see what they do with her. I feel like with a lot of these people they bring in, and I feel like she should be like a big star for them, just because she is a big women's star in general. But I don't know. I just feel like when it comes to these people, they have a good debut, and then the rest is kind of like underwhelming. So I hope they utilize her to her potential because I think she is a big star for them. I just kind of hope they have a direction for her because, I mean, the women's division's kind of been hindered, and I think not that she's like the end-all be-all, but I think it's a good start for them to kind of like get back on track. It's just they just need to use her correctly. And obviously, coming back in Boston, I mean, it's her hometown. She probably won't get a bigger reaction than that. Like, I understand doing it, but I kind of sets expectations, and then when every other crowd's not as like head over heels for her, it kind of comes off a little less. But I know Tony likes doing like the hometown debut. Did the same thing with Punk twice, so I don't hate the move, but I feel like the reactions are just unfortunately going to get small just because the crowd's going to be smaller and it's not Boston.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, the crowds are definitely not going to be as loud or as big as they were last night in the Garden. And, reportedly they put 9,000 people in there. I don't know the exact number. I didn't count the amount of people in the building. But even before the show started during the Ring of Honor tapings, it was a pretty full building. I mean, I got to give you credit for that. Will they be able to pull that the next time they're in the Garden for a non-special show? Because that was only their second show there, and the first one was Blood and Guts. So if it was like a regular Dynamite, would they do that amount of people? Probably not. As far as the amount of people they do for Dynamite, if there's less people in the building, as long as they're vocal, then that's fine. I mean, CM Punk got some amazing reactions in that company, even when they were filled with only a couple thousand people, because they were a vocal bunch, and that was kind of the, one of the better parts of AEW back in the day was the fact they had, they had a few people in the arena, but they were pretty loud and whatever. With Sasha, you're right. She didn't really say what she wanted to do, but she did come back out at the end during the women's main event. And the women-only main event because Sasha was there. Do you think we can get used to more women's main events on these shows? Do you think it's going to have an actual impact on the division, I guess is my point.
Say division. Are you saying division or company-wide? Like, do I think the ratings are going to get much better for women's wrestling than for AEW? No. Do I think it'll help the women? I don't know how it couldn't help. Yeah. I think she's clearly the best worker they have now. So theoretically, everyone should be getting better working with her. I mean, the problem I feel like with her is there isn't a lot of other like top talent for her to like, besides like Tony, Statlander. I mean, people love Willow. I'm not the biggest Willow fan, but besides them two, for me, I guess you could say like Ruby, who I don't even know where I think she's on a date with like Angela Parker or something. I don't fucking know. And then like Soraya's fucking, I don't even know where she is. I haven't seen her in a while either. So I think, like you said, I think it's a good start. They just need a booker correctly, because like I said, I think once she faces Tony in the top tier women, it's like, what do you really do with her?
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, I like the attempt, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's all a matter of how they followed it up. I would not, I'll tell you right now, I would not put her right in the ring with Julia Hart right away and have her win the championship. Willow literally pinned Julia, I believe. Not even Sky Blue. I think she pinned Julia in a tag team match at that last pay-per-view in the pre-show. So, I mean, they have to give Willow a shot first before they give it to Mercedes, but I wouldn't even put the melt on. I know Mercedes is the biggest star there now, male or female, I get that, but I don't know. To just kind of bypass her plans by putting it on the big star within a month, I would say the same thing if she beat Tony, too. I mean, I wouldn't jump right into that. I feel like you got to give it more time. If these power rankings are worth anything, she would not get a title shot within the next couple of months anyway. But I think they already threw the power rankings away. I don't think they've updated them in like a month. So the power rankings they made such a big deal about bringing back, they haven't even used them since like late February. But whatever. I would still give the TBS championship to Willow, but you know they might just put it right on Mercedes right away. And I know I see what you're saying. I don't want people to think, oh, if they don't put the belt on her right away, then they're misusing her. No, I feel like they can give her a big time feud and not have it. Like when they had Saraya come in, she shouldn't really be champion anyway, but she came in and feuded with Britt Baker, and it was like a big deal for a while. They could do something similar with her. That's not the TBS championship, but you know she's a great asset regardless. Definitely the division. Will she add to ratings and stuff for last night? I would hope so. Long term, probably not.
For last night, it probably will. Long term, I don't think so.
I don't think anyone's
last week they had Ospreay and Okada, and they're the worst ratings they've had in forever. So
yeah, I mean, I just don't think. Unless it's maybe
How does
The
that
Rock.
Equate? That's what I don't get.
What'd you say?
How did last week when they had Okada and Ospreay have like the worst ratings they've had in like a long time? I don't even know how that even equates.
Well, yeah, I mean they advertised. I'm not defending them. I'm just saying they didn't advertise Okada, but I think it's more about the rating for last night had to have gone up because they advertised Okada, they advertised Ospreay, and they basically advertised Mercedes Mone. But I mean these guys will be on the show every single week. So, I mean, you're right about last week, but it goes forward every week because these three individuals specifically will probably be big parts of Dynamite going forward. If the ratings go down or they don't improve, then they don't make a difference. I don't think anyone's going to be a difference maker.
Yeah. I mean, I also just felt like after Revolution, like a lot of people were talking about how great of a show it was. I figured they'd still, even, especially, like you said, not everyone was advertised, but like people were talking about like how great the show was. I figured they'd get a bump there, and it didn't really seem like that happened. So
yeah.
I'm not quite sure. I mean, like you said, there's stuff I like. There's a lot of stuff I don't like. I'm not really sure exactly how you make it. Like you said, I just feel like they're stuck in a spot. I don't really know how you get much. Like, I just feel like they just have the niche audience, and if that's what they have, that's what they have. I just, like you said, I feel like they always bring in these people and like, oh, game changer, new. I just don't know what else they need to do to like get a bigger. I don't think there's anything they can do. I don't know. I just feel like it's tough, and they keep bringing in all these people, and it doesn't really seemingly like Punk was probably the only person that really kind of like jumped up stuff. And obviously, like he hadn't wrestled in 10 years, so yeah, and he had a massive following. And it's like now, it's like I don't know. Even at the end of his run in AEW, they weren't getting 1 million views. So I'm not quite sure. I mean, not like the views really matter, but I just feel like it does hinder the company from being bigger than it is.
I mean, this is a whole separate conversation. I know I got to let you go, so I'll keep this short. But you know, the comments came out yesterday from Ospreay. I listened to the interview. He mentioned in Talk Is Jericho that WWE made him an offer, which I'm not sure. I mean, I guess maybe through the grapevine they could have. He wasn't officially a free agent before he even signed with AEW, so I'm not sure how deep the discussions were, but he mentioned the offers between the two companies. Not literally what the offers were, but he said AEW's blew WWE's out of the water. And then you throw that into the fact that Okada is reported to be making, I mean, I don't know if I believe this, $4.5 million a year, American dollars. I mean, I don't know if I believe that. Maybe that's true. It could be $4.5 million total over 3 years. Again, like I said, we don't know. But I saw comments from people saying, this is why WWE is going to fail with free agency in the future, because they're not offering big-time money to these big-time free agents. Listen, dude, the company's as hot as it's ever been right now for WWE. And if they have these people like Tiffany Stratton, Braun Breaker, and other college athletes coming in, and they're going to become big stars. Why the fuck would they pay for Okada to stay in Japan and come on? I mean, I think that I wanted to see Okada and Ospreay in WWE, but why would they offer them $4.5 million a year or anywhere near that remote amount of money if they can build their own stars for dirt cheap? And again, they can't pay every free agent like shit, obviously. I'm just saying in their case, for them to fly in from Japan or England or wherever they live to come in all the time, for them, they probably don't see it as worth it when they really don't need these people. Okada and Ospreay are not going to be immediate ratings changers right off the bat. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you could pay those people a lot of money and they can be big deals, but to say, oh man, they really dropped the ball by not getting Okada or Ospreay. Yeah, they did. I feel like they should have offered them more. But at the end of the day, them not getting Okada or Ospreay is not going to make that big of a difference long term. It really won't, and maybe it will, but I doubt it would. I mean, it's bigger gain for AEW than AEW. I mean, than WWE. WWE will still be, I would assume, for the foreseeable future anyway, from a business standpoint, thriving regardless.